This video is about why I love winter so much, and I speak to my friends about this sometimes. My two closest friends, I've spoken about this, and we share a very similar mindset on this. And I don't know, it must just be a manly thing. That sounds cringe, but it's not. Well, it's not cringe. It's a manly thing. Loving that suffering of the winter, the idea of going through a cold, hard winter. You know, I used to watch these like nature shows, and you get these people living in like the Arctic Circle in America, just going out fucking chopping wood, hunting, gathering things, and battling through the cold to stay alive, and that edge of life experiences. And I've had these experiences in the winter where I go out to like a bothy. If you don't know what that is, it's like a remote settlement that you can go and stay in Scotland for free. But you always have to like hike miles to get to them, over like mostly rough terrain, through the mountains and shit, crossing rivers that are in full spate. And I had this experience at the start of this year. We went to a bothy, and it was called Malvui. If you want to search it up, I'll put the actual spelling on here because it's not spelt Malvui. It's like Malbahudi, but I'll put it on screen so you can see. But we walked through, and it was the 2nd of January. It wasn't too cold on the first day, but it was pissing it down, raining, and we ended up getting caught in the dark because we're stupid. Well, we intentionally got caught in the dark because we left a little bit later than we know we should have because it was winter. So sunset about 4:30, and we're about halfway on a 12-mile hike over like mountain tracks, and it's a very remote part of Scotland, so there's not a lot of like people around there, and we're just caught there in the middle of the night with like shitty maps. Like my mate had a map on his phone that kind of shows you like a GPS location, which takes a while to load basically, and we're just walking over these tracks, finding ways through this rough like peat bog and stuff. We decided to go around a river because there's a river that kind of goes like that, where we get to here. So instead of the path takes us across the river, over a path, and then across the river again, but we decided to just walk around the marsh and stuff around the river to avoid the two crossings because it was in like full spate. But the one that we couldn't avoid was right in front of the bothy, so we have to basically, so I just adjust the camera here, the river's like deep, like balls deep, going fast, and there's 4 of us, so we're like linking arms and stuff, making sure that we can all stay together crossing the river. One of my mates actually falls over and like loses a bag of our logs, and we basically like drag each other to the shoreline and stuff. And I don't know, it wasn't really the middle, it was like 8:30, but it was pitch black, raining sideways, and we stayed at the bothy for 2 days. And on the walk out, it's like snow. It wasn't thick snow, it was probably like a couple inches, but it'd been snowing the whole time we were at the bothy, so it laid quite a wee bit. And just walking through that, cold as fuck, and I was a lot slower walker than those guys, so I'm like walking way behind them on my own for majority of the walk out in the snow. We've got like snow coming in our face, and like you're like just battling through. I love that shit. It's so like, it's character building. It builds that masculine strength within you, and it really makes me want to. It just gets me going, that stuff. It really does. I've not even started the notes that I've spoke about here, so I'll start now. But so like in the winter, there's nothing happening. No one's doing anything. Like I remember when we came back from that trip, the farmer from where we parked the car he was out. I don't know what he was doing, like cleaning out a shed or something. And he walks past us like, "Oh, are you army or something?" And we're thinking, "Nah, we're just out on a walk." He just gave us that look like, "You're fucking crazy," because he obviously doesn't see people that time of year. There's no one fucking stupid going out walking, especially like 4 guys in their early 20s. I think, was that I would have been 20 by then. I think we're 20 and 21 was the oldest guy, or maybe we're all 20. Yeah, we're all 20, walking through the fucking winter snow, and it's just cold, and that's the point. Like, there's no one doing anything. There's no distractions, and that's like a perfect environment to work and build yourself in the winter. I feel like you can't really do that in the summer because there's so much shit going on. There's always people inviting you to things. There's a lot of temptations, and although I like to think I'm a strong man that doesn't get tempted by things, the last few months have proved that I'm not, and I do get distracted by things. But in the winter, I don't have to worry about these distractions. I can zone in on my purpose, and I've got examples in my past that I've done that, and this, like the cold weather and stuff, it is, like I mentioned before, character building. How well can you adapt to this discomfort? It's constantly cold outside and you're having to go out and do things, you're having to go to work, you're going to school, whatever you're doing, go to training in the cold. How do you deal with the discomfort? Do you just cuddle up and do as little as possible, or do you just do it with an open chest, with a masculine fucking force, and just decide, fuck, I don't care what the fucking weather is, I don't care how uncomfortable it is, I'm gonna fucking go through and I'm gonna thrive. It's a perfect challenge, and I love fucking eating up that challenge and just going for things, and that's a mindset you need to clock into. And that's I've always, like, every winter that I can remember of the last few years, I've made distinct progress in my life. It's always like when it gets to like September, October time, my birthday's in October, and every time my birthday comes around, I'll speak about that briefly, is I get like that feeling, oh, I'm another year older, and I reflect on my last year and see what have I done. And it hasn't been till the last 2 or 3 years where I've thought, fuck, I'm pushing forward here. I am pushing forward. The last year I've moved on so much, and I've built a new character for myself, and that kind of invigorates me to move on to the next year. Whereas in the past, I remember my 16th birthday, I was up north with my family, and I just went outside. We had a nice place, a good view of the mountains and stuff. It was a starry night, and I just stood there and think, I'm not living. I'm not working as hard as I want to. I need to get, like, it's a weird sort of depression that I think only men really get. I wasn't really like get attracting women at that point, as like upset. I was good looking, but I didn't have the character traits behind me to get women easily. And I just remember that those sort of depressions that I would have at those birthdays, 16, 17, just like the whole day I'd spend just miserable, just because I'm like, right, I'm not who I want to be. In the last few years, I'm like, every time I go through another birthday, I'm like, I've moved on, I'm moving on, I'm pushing forward, and I've went through hardships in the last year, and I've pushed forward through them, and I've become a better man because of it, and that really invigorates me into the winter, to push and to work and to grind and to fuck distractions and fuck pleasures and just go for it. I love that shit. I love it. And there's one sort of kind of stories when I was in high school. I'd go to school the whole day, and then I think I was probably injured at these points, and I would go to the gym afterwards, just fucking like get like the mad pump on and just fucking work like fuck. Like, you know, when every time you put the weight down after a set, I'm there. You know, I'm actually fatigued from the set. I'm not just going through the motions. Then going back to the changing room, putting my big jacket on, and then walking. It's only like a 5-minute walk around the corner. Go back home in the cold, no matter what the weather is, trying to stay on my feet and not slip on the ice and stuff. Get home and have like a massive fucking bowl of whatever food my parents have cooked, and that shit just like, to describe the feeling, it feels like you're putting hair on your chest. That's what it feels like. It feels like when you're sitting there eating after you've just worked like fuck, and it's cold outside, and you're sitting there eating a massive meal with high protein, high carbs, high fat. The feeling is genuinely like your chest is like just expressing manhood with your hair just fucking coming out of it, and it's just, you feel powerful. It's one of the best feelings ever. I encourage you, if you don't already, start getting into the fucking gym this winter and start fucking working like you never worked before. You come home from the cold, even if the gym's cold as well, like sometimes the gym would be fucking freezing, you create that heat and that power in you, and you're just fucking expressing that to the surroundings around you. It's one of the most blissful feelings I get, and that it's addictive to get that feeling of, yeah, I fucking worked today, I fucking pushed myself today, and I've come home and I'm reaping the rewards. I'm getting this food and just feeling that, like, I know that this food is building muscle as I speak. Like, that really fucking brought me to the point where I have this physique and this strength and this character that I have behind me now, which has dwindled over the last few months. I've not felt that feeling in a while. Like, I'm starting to build these things back up again, and my vision for this winter is just like, I've got my job, so I'm working 4 shifts a week, 8-hour shifts, and then I've got training now with the rugby, and I still need to make a decision whether I want to go play amateur rugby in the off season or just do like a massive off season block of training and just fucking grinding relentlessly and blindingly and just make that fucking masculine character, just that winter, you know. It's like this shirt just for me, it's just a manly shirt. It's like a big red flannel with like fluff on the inside, kind of dirty, like it smells like man, like it just smells like work. It's that fucking idea of like the lumberjack chucking in his big shirt and going chopping wood all day, like that fucking, I want to get into that attitude of like, I'm going to fucking work, I'm going to fucking do everything I can to align my life to be unbelievably fucking masculine and just working and fucking driving, conquering. That's the shit I want to do this winter. Everything I do when I wake up, I'm going out, I'm attacking the world with my masculinity, I'm expressing my heart and my love into the world and the work that I'm doing. And just that in the winter for me is so much like more powerful because it's dark outside all the time, it's miserable outside, but I'm generating this feeling of just drive, force, power, reliability, trustworthiness, and just pure virtue and masculinity within you, like building that inside of you while everything around you is so miserable and so cold, so damp, so everything's fucking, like when you do washing in the winter, we've got, I think it's my flatmate's bed sheet, it takes like 2-3 days to dry because it's cold and nothing's fucking warming, nothing's drying. You just living a tough life, like everything becomes harder. You pulling your clothes off from the drying rack, it's still kind of damp, but you don't have a choice. You're fucking moving forward. You don't have a choice here. You have to move forward. Like, if you shut down because it's cold and it's rainy and it's miserable outside, inside the house is cold, the food that you're eating isn't particularly fancy. Like, I put up a picture now of a meal I had yesterday, just a plate of fucking minced rice and avocado. It's like, it's bare bones fucking, it's just nutrition, it's calories going straight into your bloodstream, building your muscles back up from the toil that you've suffered through the day. And fuck, that's why I love winter. I hope that after this video you've watched it and you think, I want to fucking attack this winter. My two closest friends, the one that I've made recently, he's got like the nice car, nice flat and stuff, he's got the exact same attitude. And I've been speaking about this with my other friend from back home for fucking years. All these bothy trips and stuff that I speak about, I experienced with him. I experienced that misery of fucking, you're walking for hours and hours, the weather's shit, the food that you're gonna get when you get to the bothy is shit, you're not gonna get the hydration, the water is fucking like, the water's ice cold but you're fucking freezing, the fire isn't really heating anywhere but like a 1 meter like radius around the fireplace, you sleep and it's uncomfortable as fuck. Like, no matter what you do, you can't get enough warmth in your sleeping bag. Your mattress is deflated and you're lying on the cold hard wood, and you wake up and it's just you can hear the wind whistling through the windows, you can hear the fucking wind shaking the fucking rafters on the bothy, because these are old buildings in the middle of nowhere, some very like basically maintained. There's no running water, there's no toilets, there's no cooking, there's no gas, you have to bring all your own shit, all your own clothes. Everything you do is like, you have to build that energy within inside you. You need to fight back against this cold. The world is trying to fucking tear you down. The world is trying to beat you. That is what the winter represents to me. The world is trying to fucking beat you. What are you going to do about it? The world is trying to make you so uncomfortable and just cuddle up, put the heating on, stick a movie on Netflix and sit there with a takeaway and fucking like a hot chocolate. But how are you going to fight against that? How are you going to make that discomfort an advantage to you? That's why I fucking love the winter. It just makes me feel so manly when I'm doing this work despite what's going on around me. And I hope you're as excited as I am about this winter coming up. I really want to just experience the discomfort, the trouble, the pain, the walking to the bus stop, walking to the work while it's pissing it down with rain, it's freezing cold, you're shivering most of the day, you never really get warm. This, the character that builds inside you is nothing compares to it, nothing. That's what I want to say in this video, and I hope this makes you want to do this for this winter. I hope you want to push against adversity this winter. I'll see you in the next video.